you asked before how I'm doing, and I'm feeling what's going to say, it's going to have the wrong connotation, but not in a negative way, but obligated to do something and to be more vocal in different ways than I have in the past, and to do that with the humble recognition that I do, that I have the ability and I think burden to do so, as a white man in this society, as a, you know, well, not that college professor is the highest status occupation in the world. We like to think of it
It's
as, but
not.
as a high status individual in that regard on a college campus who has a voice and has a platform, but also to do it in the right way, and figure out what the right way is to do that. And I don't know the answer to that. I'm not suggesting I have the right answer to that, but how you do that in a way that draws attention to the right things, that does so without that makes it clear that you're doing so not to shine any sort of light on your own contributions or your own work, but on the issues that are important, and that does so with the humility to recognize that you're not always going to get that right, and that when you are called out as not getting that right or putting the emphasis in the wrong place, that, and this is not something that I or maybe many academics are good at, but putting ego aside and not dwelling on that, and learning from that and moving forward and doing it in a better way. And
There are lots of things about the way people are wired that makes stereotyping and prejudice a little bit more likely to happen, a little bit more natural, a little bit more automatic, and that it takes a lot of sort of effort and thoughts that we often don't have the opportunity to commit to our judgments in order to short circuit that and to derail it. And that doesn't let us off the hook. What it does is it allows us to recognize that if we understand a little bit more about the process and the mechanism, that we can then sort of hack the system to try to come up with ways to, if not change how we make judgments, to at least mitigate the impact of those judgments. And if you recognize that bias is playing a role in the outcomes of other people, even if it is something that's sort of natural, if you don't do anything about it, you may just in fact be a bad person.